Hi guys, so today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to answer the questions I asked you to ask me on Instagram and Facebook. I did ask you to tell me whether you wanted me to answer your question in French or in English, but nobody did that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer you in French if you asked your question in French, and in English if you asked it in English. So let's get started. I'm a bit nervous, it's the first time I've done this. I thought this question was a good one to start with actually, so I'll start with this one. Adélaïde de la Quintessence asked, faisons donc connaissance. Quel est ton nom? Quel âge as-tu? D'où t'est venue l'idée d'enseigner le français en ligne? Ça rapporte combien? Curieuse, n'est-ce pas? Je m'appelle Cindy, j'ai 28 ans, même si beaucoup de gens me disent que je les fais pas. D'où t'est venue l'idée d'enseigner le français en ligne? Alors j'ai toujours voulu être prof, mais malheureusement je me trouve trop timide pour donner des cours devant 30 personnes. Surtout que, faut être honnête, en général les enfants ne sont pas très intéressés, ou au moins la moitié ne serait pas très intéressés. Donc ça, je pense que ça me mettrait un peu mal à l'aise. De plus, j'ai eu l'occasion d'aller à l'école en Angleterre, et la discipline est totalement différente. En France, on n'a pas le droit de parler, pas le droit de chuchoter. Si t'es pris à parler, c'est limite si t'es collé pendant 3 heures le samedi matin. Tandis que en Angleterre, c'est le chahut complet dans les classes. Quand je suis allée à l'école en Angleterre, on m'a proposé d'aider un prof de français, en gros de devenir son assistante. Et il était français lui-même et il m'a dit: franchement, je regrette d'avoir fait ce métier en Angleterre parce que les enfants n'en ont rien à faire de mes cours, ils veulent pas apprendre. C'est totalement différent de ce qu'on connaît en France. Si je pouvais revenir en arrière, je ferais tout complètement différemment. Donc, non, c'est pas pour moi. Donc quand je me suis rendu compte qu'il y avait déjà beaucoup de monde sur YouTube qui donnait des cours, je me suis dit pourquoi pas moi. Ça me permettrait de faire ce que j'ai toujours voulu faire, c'est-à-dire d'enseigner, de devenir prof, mais sans avoir affaire aux élèves qui peut-être ne sont pas intéressés et mettraient le chahut dans ma classe. Et combien ça rapporte? Franchement, pas grand-chose. Si j'étais prof dans une école, je gagnerais certainement 10 fois plus, mais bon, faire mes cours sur YouTube, ça me rend heureuse et c'est ce qui est le plus important pour moi. Now that I've been speaking French, I don't know how to say that name. Your name, sorry. Hang on. Thomas Goss asked, what do you do for a living in the real world? I've just finished my degree. I literally finished it last month. I'm waiting for the results right now. So I'm kind of like, I don't have a job per se at the minute. I would say that in a way YouTube is my job. But what I plan on doing is once I get my results, I will be able to make a more informed decision as to what I want to do. But at the moment, what I'm thinking is I definitely do not want to give up YouTube because that is what has made me the happiest. Like, that is the job, if we can call it that has made me the happiest. And I don't think that any other job could make me so happy. Like, every single morning, the first thing I do is I look at the comments that you guys left me, and it is always very positive and it just makes my day. And that's just not something that I found in like working for someone else, if that makes sense. But having said that, as I was saying earlier, it's not very profitable, at least at the moment. And like everybody else, I need to put money on the table. No, I need to put money on the table. I need to put food on the table. So, my plan is to carry on YouTube forever, or as long as you guys are interested. And alongside it, I will probably start a course to learn specifically about translation so that I can take the Diptrons exam. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but basically it's just to say that you're a certified translator so that I would do YouTube and translating alongside it. That's my plan. I hope this answered your question. This is gonna be a very long video. I think I'm gonna have to, make it into separate parts. So Taka0220 asked, which part of France are you from? Can you tell me about your hometown? PS, I visited Paris in April this year and I fell in love with your country. That's why I started studying French. I would love to travel all over France one day. France is a beautiful country. I would love to travel all over France myself. Unfortunately, my parents hate traveling, so I didn't really get to travel that much and I haven't seen much of France at all, but I know that it's very, very beautiful. It's got so many different landscapes and that is definitely on my to-do list as well. In fact, I have said on Twitter at least, I've never seen the Eiffel Tower. Now, how sad is that? I did go to Paris, but my dad was like, I am not driving proper into Paris. We're not going to the Eiffel Tower. So I've never seen it. But I come from Brittany, which is in the northwest of the country. You can't get more west than where I come from. But as to, can you tell me about your hometown? I can tell you about Brittany, but for security reasons, I can't tell you about my hometown specifically. But I'll insert a little clip here of what it looks like because it's very pretty and I love it and I'm very proud of where I come from. So if I can find the clip, I'll insert it now. It was filmed last summer when I went on a horse carriage or something with my parents in the summer because we went to a horse show and we went along the seaside because I lived very close to the seaside and my parents still live there and it's very pretty and picturesque and I want you to see it. So hopefully I can find the clip. So yes, as you can tell, where I come from is not towny, it's not a city, it's not like Paris at all. It's very countrified. I come from the countryside and yeah, that's about all I can tell you really about that. Caitlin00 asked, did you experience any culture shocks when you moved from France to the UK? Yes. There was, I would say, at least there are 3 that come to mind right now. There's probably plenty more, but I would say the first one would be kissing. So in France, you kiss your family and friends on the cheek, and that's that. Kissing on the lips is between couples, married, not married, makes no difference, but it's just for couples. And when I came to the UK, I found that a lot of people kiss their children on the lips, which I think some French people do it, but it's very rare. But in England, it's much more widespread, I think. At least the family I moved to did that. So that was a bit of a culture shock for me. But not just that. Like, when the relatives came over, they also kissed everyone on the lips. And I was like, no, thank you. Not for me. And and even some friends sometimes kiss them on the lips. I still can't get my head around that. So that was one. The other one was eating. Like, the food is not that different, but the meal times were, and I found that very difficult. In France, you have breakfast at about, I don't know, when you get up, basically. You have lunch about 12. At 4, or when you come home from school, you have high tea, which is usually a hot chocolate and hot coffee and biscuits or pancakes or sweets, basically sweet stuff. And when I came home from school in the UK, They gave me my dinner. I was like, no. You know, like, high tea was my favorite dinner. I couldn't give that up. So I was like, please, can we at least have dinner at 6? Because 5 is a little early for me. Eventually, we came to the compromise and we did end up having dinner about 6. Oh yeah, and the other thing was, as I said previously, discipline in schools is totally different in the UK. I think within the home it's a bit different as well, because you're not like... In the UK, smacking kids is totally a no-no thing. It's very looked down upon, whereas in France, at least when I was growing up, it was just a done thing. So when like I saw all the children getting away with everything, I was like, am I really horrible? Or did my parents mistreat me? You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah. So now that I've been in the UK for so long, I'm actually gearing slightly towards the British way of raising their children. But in schools, no. It's just, it was a total culture shock seeing how unruly kids were and how noisy kids were in the classroom. I just couldn't get on with that. Like, they used to get up and go and sit somewhere else right in the middle of the lesson. Did I really go to a bad school? Because I'm wondering. It's just different, and I didn't get on with that. So this is it for today, but I want to answer all the questions you asked me on Facebook and Instagram. So I will be making another video of this type to answer the questions that I didn't get time to answer in this video. So look out for that. And I see you in my next video. Bye!